because change is threatening, and you have to, I think at some point, you have to give some credence to people and what they've done. So
Okay,
you're in the middle of a place that was probably of the 6,000 lots where this is 1,700. It was the most contentious zoning we've ever done in Carmel, Indiana, in Western Clay. So
we're not worried about this.
For drainers and stuff to approve it.
on
It doesn't
the-
matter, we don't want this neighborhood in our yard, so. Just a question for you, as a developer, and you do have a great deal of experience, you've looked at what's around there and take that into context and try to be thoughtful to what's around there, because as I look at this, it doesn't look like you've been very thoughtful to what's around it.
Well, this could turn into just assassinating doors.
Well, it is.
That's right.
That's okay.
It's not you personally.
But
it's
we,
the
on the
project.
other hand, it's like you said, we've been at this, we're not just speculating. We think that this could turn into this great thing. I play golf out there a lot. It's a totally unusual piece of land. It won't work with a part golf course, part housing. The economics don't work.
Then leave it golf course.
Hey, I had to live by the rules there too, sir. I got 3 acres. I'm right next to the golf course. You just pretty much are proposing to ruin what our dreams were about to have. 6 houses down the back of my side of my yard. A cul-de-sac at the end.
Well, it looks like
I built my home for that view and that land. This lady sold that property and was promised it would never be sold or changed.
Somebody's word.
Somebody's word.
Which is worth.
And you said the word? Where's his word?
Why doesn't Westfield take it over? All they can think about is Grand Park. And there are a lot of people that want to play golf.
I can't answer that.
Well, you can tell that we don't want your darn things. No part of it.
I got it.
You may get it again, too.
Yes, sir.
I heard something about the, because of other subdivisions being approved, that there might not be enough water supply. For your proposal, can you elaborate on that?
Only to the fact that we've met with citizens, and I don't think that's the case. But they looked at the plan and said, we have the capacity to serve you. So, I can't answer that, that's all I can do. Yes, sir.
Did Thompson approach you, or did you approach Thompson?
Well, Thompson, Bob and Tom Rush are partners. Tom Rush is a partner, a friend of mine. We've played golf together for years. And so this is how it came up. And I guess he said, he must have some respect for what we've done. Because he said, what can I do? Because I got to get out of this. And the lease is up at the end of 15. And I said, well, I'll look at it. And when I looked at it and walked it, and I played it, of course, but I never played it thinking, well, you know, that could this be developed. However, it's probably some of the most scenic land in Westfield. And Westfield
Yeah, I've been reading that way.
regardless of whether anything happens to me or not, Westfield is going to change. It's already changed considerably. It's the next thing. 31 being completed is going to change life in Westfield. I'm not advocating this for this project. I'm just saying, you know, 20 years ago when I started, Carmel was exactly the way it is today. I mean, the layout was exactly the same, but it was almost all, when we bought this ground 17 years ago, there was nothing around here as far as development, and it's developed. So the next thing out is Westfield, and I'm not advocating it for our purposes. I'm saying, if it's gonna do that, then it seems to me incumbent that we should look at who's doing it and how they're doing it. Yes, sir.
I think that, you know, creating this new identity, which is what you're basically doing with this development, you're changing the land and you're changing the scenic views that it creates, and it has. You know, if Westfield transforms in this way, it just becomes a clone like Noblesville or like Fishers or like Carmel. It loses its uniqueness and its rural lifestyle that it offers. So I feel like it should be 3-acre lots and preserve that lifestyle. I feel like that draws people to the community rather than higher density residential homes like is being proposed.
I can't disagree with that, but I think the pressure of demographics is such that, proximity to a major metropolitan area with good transportation and utilities is gonna bring our ilk out of the woodwork and say, this is an opportunity, it's a great place to live. You're all saying that it is a great place to live. I'm not, obviously I'm in one camp and you're in another. We won't solve this tonight, but we wanted to get together and let you know who we are, what we're like, and what we're trying to do. Just,
How about we make a suggestion that you go back and say, there's a whole lot of people putting a lot of pressure towards this, that we might not get it. Maybe we might wanna rethink this and slightly make it bigger. Or reconstruct and make the lots something that you can put a 6,000 square foot house on it, rather than a 2,000 square foot house and have your neighbors know what you're doing in the bathroom.
You know, you've said this, I think, 3 times. Change is inevitable. We all know that. But to obliterate a beautiful, not only golf course, but green space that can't be replicated. It's got old trees, it's got, aquifer, it's beautiful. I just don't understand why this piece of land has to look like that instead of what it is now, when there's land that's already flat, you can build your retention ponds and all that. I just don't see why this change is inevitable. I don't think so. I think what the young man said is something that everybody needs to pay attention to that's elected. And people come here for this amenity.
I mean,
This type.
one of the things the comprehensive plan talks about is that Westfield will have high-density housing, but it will also have rural opportunities. It will have artisan farms. It will have equestrian farms. And there have to be places for those. And if you look around, that's what's around there. And I believe that's what will continue to be in the area as well.
What's your timeline for petitioning for zoning?
we're in the process now. So we've petitioned, but we have to go through certain steps that you all know.
How will you know that?
When it happened. Lady in the back is that man.
Forgive me if you've answered this already, but how does this plan that you're presenting tonight, how does it differ from the one that was originally presented to the council a month or 2 ago?
It doesn't.
But they've already said they want to approve it and that it needs to be redone, so why are you presenting this?
No, they said you need to come back after the election. That's
No,
what
they
I-
Just remember, they're politicians.
To the council previously that got shot down. Is that true?
I'm sorry.
This is the original plan that was presented to the council that got shot down by
No,
the council.
no one ever discussed the plan.
You showed it.
You did.
You absolutely did discuss it.
Well,
You tried to set it up so that on St. Patrick's Day, you had your first hearing. And you tried to set it up so that the second hearing was gonna be while people were on spring break.
And the council told you
this
to go
isn't
back to the
fair. You
drawing
guys are
board.
ganging up.
Well, then, change your plans, because.
What's been consideration of the road structures out there, because, I mean, going downtown in the morning, since I go out to the golf course quite a bit, I mean, it is packed coming south, you know, and there's just not enough road structure out there to support 350 more homes, you know, so what is the plan for redoing the road structure?
Well, I think Town Road is set up to be.
They just surveyed it.
Yeah.
They're gonna, the bridge has to be replaced, and they took, the city requested a greater width taken from the property for purposes of making the right way off. Yes, sir.
So I don't know if you noticed, but probably awoken a lot of people that didn't care about stuff like this before. Would you and are you considering anything else besides this?
No.
So when you have opposition that you're gonna have, and you're gonna talk to people in the council and the mayor,
It's been very
you have
rare.
no other plan.
It's been very rare in my experience that the first time someone brings something up that everybody loves.
And I think you're missing the bigger picture of people here. They have a bigger picture than just this one development. I think it's a grander picture of that area of town. And I think you're kind of missing that. You're like, okay,
Okay, well,
we may not like this development, we don't. but we don't want anything like that out there. I
You wanna
mean,
leave it?
that's kind of what we're saying, and we will do whatever we can with our councilors, mayors, and things to let them know that, hey, you're gonna keep your jobs, you
Got
might
it,
wanna listen to us.
got it. Yes, sir.
You said this meeting's in accordance with your license. Why?
And yours is required.
The city says,
I think you have zero false pretenses, because if what she says is true, we're wasting our time sitting here, you're presenting something that's already been presented.
There's no flexibility.
And all of us have come here because we thought that this was something new, and I think you sought out a way to appeal to us in private.
Why is it
And
in
I think
Carmel?
you're wasting our time.
Well, I'm sorry, and if everybody feels that way, then let's end the meeting.
I think we need to take everybody here and take it to the city council and sit in their lap, not this man. He's trying to make money. We've got to give him the right to make money, but as long as we go to the city council and tell them it ain't gonna happen, then he unfortunately is gonna have to change his plans, or the city will give him the variance to change the zoning, which is now currently in place.
Yeah, can I speak a little bit? There's been a couple questions, but the mayor just was on. I'm Matt Price, and I'm an attorney at Bingham, Greenbaum, Dahl, and I do some work for George and John. And can I, would you show a little courtesy? We're listening to you, and if you listen to us just for a minute. It is a process, and it's, you weren't asked to be here under any kind of false pretense. I think what we're looking for is, are there areas where there's some room to meet each other part way?
No.
It doesn't look like you're trying, because
Can I at least finish my thought? My thought was that there is a difference between saying that the comprehensive plan stands for the proposition that there's never going to be any change of this property, which I can tell you, that is not what your comprehensive plan says.
No, that isn't what it says.
And two, saying what areas can we potentially meet each other on. One lady I thought used a good word that actually is in the comprehensive plan, which is having a design that reflects the context of the area in which the project is located. We can help flesh out what that means. This is a first iteration of what we believe that means, and we can point out how that's been taken into account. But if all we're going to get is we're 100% against it, Mr. Van Natta said he's going to oppose it to the end of the earth, or words to that effect, if that's what we're talking about, then there isn't a lot of room for a productive discussion. If we're talking about how to make this more context sensitive, or how to make this the more compelling project for the community, then we're certainly open to that discussion. We're at the very beginning of the process, which is to have a community meeting before the project's even been forwarded by the council to the plan commission, at which time you're gonna have a public hearing. You all will receive notice of that public hearing. But this is an opportunity to exchange some ideas. I mean, we're under no misapprehension. We understand there is great opposition to the project, but we would like the opportunity and way to hear what constructive comments there might be.
That would have been a better answer than required.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, Mr. Sweet said he's not gonna take any of our ideas. This is
Part
our
of this-
plan.
What he meant by that is that it is part of the process.
It would be nice as you come back with a different plan.
There's 4 or 5 people in this room who have sat down with lawyers, one being here, 2 or 3 people I know of, which we had a meeting, what was it, a month and a half ago, with the city charter, with everything that goes through this whole entire process. And you can speak ease to any part of it, but as a whole, the city council has to change it, and no matter how much lawyers push them, it ain't gonna happen. If we stand in front of politicians telling them it ain't gonna happen.
So that's not what we're not going to discuss, any changes to the proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're an absolute no.
Bruce has the whole border with the golf course, he's the one who's impacted.
Yeah, I mean-
And it's not Woodwind PUD.
Well, that's great. Listen,
I'm familiar with who Dr. Banana is.
Okay.
okay. George just said that you're not willing to entertain any other option other than this rezoning and a plan like this.
I don't think that's exactly what I said. I think what he said.
Can't be a liar.
And please clarify, because that's the reason I'm here is about the
I'll
zoning.
clarify. What he's saying is that he's not going to do something that preserves the golf course. It's not something other than a residential development.
You can sell the golf course.
That's what we're talking about.
You can sell the golf course, it
It's
is
zoned for
right.
3
It's
acre
the
lots, so
zoning, I
make it
think
that
is the
way.
biggest concern.
I understand that.
And he said.
That's exactly why we're here.
That
is
the
to-
zoning is stuck to your
Zoning
conversation.
was not changed, then this was off the table. So.
That's right.
we
Yeah,
would
that's-
consider
that's a
as
true
at
statement.
that point, keeping it to current zoning along the lines of a conservation subdivision. Okay, it's not, we are just against the golf course going away. Does anyone want to see it? No. Or for the most part, people don't want to see it. Would we like to see a golf course community as a second option? Perhaps. But it is zoned currently AGSF1. So if somebody comes in with a plan, and again, according to the comprehensive plan, it should be a conservation subdivision. This is not a conservation subdivision.
Yeah, and I will tell you that I know the way comprehensive plans are a little bit like reading the Bible. So everybody wants to pick out the one sentence that they like about it. The truth of the matter is that this plan does adhere to the design elements that are in your comprehensive plan. Absolutely it does.
It's
Not
only
that
zoning, it's not a conservation subdivision.
There is no, just to clarify, there is no provision in the comprehensive plan that requires a conservation subdivision.
There is currently a study being done. Several of our council members, some of our planning commission members are part of the study. And we're actually looking at the area west of Ditch, all the way to the western borders, to potentially put a protective umbrella over this area. Because it is such a beautiful area, it is so rare, because there's such a strong feeling that it does need to be preserved. So I think as you consider some of your options, one of them you may want to consider, we understand the landowners are getting older, they may want to sell. Perhaps they'd like to sell it as a golf course. We may have some people who are interested in purchasing it under that premise.
Unfortunately, that doesn't make them money.
Of course it makes them money.
And it makes money, not as much as this.
The way that you have this designed, there's 4 sections there. You do not have a production builder in mind? You don't have anyone?
We have no one.
No, so why 4 sections like that? Why not 3-acre lots? Or if they decided to move it, why not 1-acre lots?
Well,
Why?
because I'll answer the question, then I think we have to wrap it up. I got the picture. But, basically, it allows different price ranges to be built within a community with a common theme. Just like this place, we have $180,000 townhouses, and we have $3 million houses, and they're all together. Yes.
I just have to say this, it's really ironic that when you read the PUD document we submitted, that it is absolutely 100% identical to Pulte Viking Meadows.
That's what I was gonna say,
Four
it's like
different housing
Viking
options.
Meadows.
So I don't know if somebody plagiarized or what here, but.
Yeah, you can have the model homes right there that are different.
Mhm.
Stages are right next to each other. I don't believe it.
Thanks for coming.
I just have a quick comment before we.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I just have a quick comment before we wrap up. There's like 60 people in the room probably right now, but I've got a petition that's over 1,100 signatures right now that wants to see the golf course stay, which is roughly between our Facebook page and the petition, I would say about 10% of the adults in Westfield, which is a large number of supporters. So we'd certainly like to see a plan that keeps the golf course, and it's not just these 60, it's thousands of people in the community and stuff. I just wanted to mention that.
You also need to remember that we are the #1 community in the state of Indiana to live in, all right? And if we lose our public golf course and have 2 very private, expensive golf courses, we certainly aren't gonna look like the #1 community in which to live.
Well, that's one thing I think we can agree on. There's no question that Westfield is, as George has said, is a place where a lot of people want to be. And that there's no question that is causing people of our ilk to have an interest in the land. And it's why the neighboring property is working its way through the zoning process as well.
No, that was
That was
in
already
2004.
It's zoned, but it's going to be platted, and they're seeking commitment modifications as part of that. But my point is the reason why that project's being brought forward is because there is the demand to live in Westfield.
What's that?
Are you aware of the or Westfield being around the cable for the improvement? Were you at the meeting last night?
I was at the meeting last night.
So you're aware of it?
Absolutely. Like everyone in central Indiana is aware.
How many are gonna